with a few different companies to look into that, including a bank that they say is responsible for a lot of these transactions, a bank called Amalgamated Bank, the DC branch. So a lack of security there. What this story is just developing. Congressman Gates put out a release saying that he is going to be talking to the FEC, and he has legislation titled "Put Zombie Donors to Rest Act" that would amend the Internal Revenue Code to require a CVV number on these transactions, because we don't know why there is such little security when it comes to ActBlue. We don't know why they're allowing for this sort of thing to happen.
Well, I think they're fine taking it, and it should be no surprise to people that if it is funded by China, when you look at the Democrats' policies today on China, you understand that they're America last, China first, almost shockingly so. I mean, it's so flagrant now, it's ridiculous. So it wouldn't surprise me that a lot of them would be funded by China.
Right, and a lot of citizen journalists are asking a lot of good questions. This story really launched OMG because, I felt that a lot of people want to get involved. A lot of people want to knock on doors. It's an easy thing for people to do, to knock on the doors of these Democrats and to say, "Hey, did you donate $30,000 to Joe Biden?" It activates people. I spoke to one guy in Annapolis, Maryland, different guy than the guy that said hit Donald Trump with a baseball bat. This other guy actually said, "I'm glad that you're looking into this, and please get to the bottom of it." Now, this guy, definitely 100% liberal Democrat, but appreciated the work that I'm doing because he felt like a victim. Some people call these people Smurfs, a negative connotation there, I think, and some people call the people that are doing the money zombie donors. I think the elderly people are victims of this, and a lot of them are being woken up by the citizens knocking on their door. Don, not all these people work for me, just dozens of people inspired to go out and expose whatever this is.
Well, listen, I hope that you've done that. I hope that you're inspiring other people to get out there and ask the real questions. I mean, there's such a dearth of that in our actual mainstream media. The people who are journalists, it's amazing how little journalism they want to do. They just want to sort of parrot the Democrat narrative. I mean, they've gone after you countless times. I mean, I don't think that they've ever proven you wrong, but they go after you when you're breaking stories that you'd think they would be all over. So you'd mentioned OMG. I love the acronym for O'Keefe Media Group. You founded Project Veritas, but you're not there anymore. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened there? I imagine they regret their actions because I look at you as Project Veritas. I mean, you're the guy that did it. You're the guy, we'll get to this one later, that went in there, you're dressed like a pimp, trying to get acorn donations to fund a brothel. I mean, I thought that was sort of amazing, just the way this all started. But then you really started breaking, big stories. Tell us a little bit about what happened and really now what you're trying to accomplish with OMG, your new group.
Yeah, that acorn story also, Hannah Giles went in there with me. Some 13 years ago. The mission of OMG is to decentralize journalism. It's to empower other people to do what we do here, and we have a very big story coming next week. Actually, I think perhaps even more significant of an institution than Pfizer was, and Pfizer is very, very powerful and controls the majority of the advertising dollars on television, which is one of the problems you have in media, which is that journalists are beholden to their advertisers, which include big pharma. But the institution that we're about to investigate is even bigger than that, and it takes independent people, Don, to speak truth to power. I'm not for sale. No one tells me what to do. No one tells me what not to do. Mm-hmm. If anyone tries to do that, I just walk away. And that's my core value. That's my core tenet. That's what I believe in. Journalists should operate completely unafraid and impartial. It should be focused on the facts. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've always believed in. So OMG's mission is really to get people to take these classes that we're offering next month that really open source all of my knowledge on ethics, on the law, on technology, on how to identify a story, on how to go undercover, and give that to people, because everyone wants to find and expose corruption. They just need some training. They just need some help. So we have a core staff right now, some really great people working with me. and I hope to inspire other people to do what I do.
Well, listen, I hope so too, because again, I think there's probably so much more out there. I mean, it's perhaps a little bit what I'm trying to do here on Rumble, right? Where I have a platform of free speech. I can say what needs to be said. I can take things further than they'll ever take on, frankly, either side of the mainstream media spectrum. So I think, that's super important. But having people that have, the guts, the willingness to go in sort of undercover this way, to get, entrenched in an organization and talk about what's really going on is huge. So I think that's absolutely
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's I can't you can't teach hunger. You can't teach,
Yeah.
you have to come to the table being willing. You have to be, courage. I can't really teach that. Although maybe you can find it within yourself, inspired by other people. So it's that hunger, it's that desire to go get a story, that but we can teach you all the other things. Like you mentioned, ingratiate yourself, or getting in there, like a guy like Christian Hartsock. He went into that Democracy Partners group, which you talked about. I remember on the air in 2016, backstage, you were on live with Hannity talking about that.
Mhm.
That took a long time for him to build the trust of Scott Fogle and catch all those guys on tape saying they were punching people at rallies and getting paid to foment violence and these sorts of things. That took a lot of effort, and it took a long time to do that. But I think there's a lot of people out there that can do that. So on our website, o'keefemediagroup.com, you can sign up to be a journalist, and we have over 1,000 people that have signed up to do this, and we're sort of deploying them and dispatching them, including into an series of institutions that you'll see next week.
That's great. So when the Project Veritas breakup went public, I noticed it turned into, like, let's call it a little bit of a proxy war with what seemed to be a lot of Trump supporters sort of vocally having your back, and then some of the more like DeSantis establishment-y people not so much. Am I reading too much into that? Is there anything that reveals about Project Veritas, or maybe Matt Tamarind and some of the behavior of all of this? Because it was really interesting. Like, the lines were very distinct. The people that had that stuck with Project Veritas corporate were very much that way, whereas sort of it felt like all of the Trump people were very much with you and your mission.
I I don't know. I from my perspective, and what I went through, I am choosing to, um, uh, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, take the high road on this and not even feed into it. Because if I say anything at all, and I certainly am allowed to, in the sense that I'll speak about anything, but I feel like any reaction I give is just going to be used against me. It's just going to be weaponized, and I don't think that I wish them well. I hope I, there's room for a lot of people doing this. I mean,
Yeah.
we need a lot of people exposing this. I gave this 45-minute long departing remarks. I don't know if you saw that, but it was back February 20th,
Yep.
when I my last day there, and I said everything there is to say about the whole thing, everything I knew, and there, circumstantial evidence and some things that I could opine on, but I really don't want to say something unless I actually have evidence of it. And in that speech, I talked to my staff about what I know to be 100% true, and I learned a lot. Life is about learning. I mean, things happen in life, and sometimes unfair things happen,
Hmm.
but we learn from it and we become better as a result of it. I mean, one of the things I learned is about boards. When you're a nonprofit, it's not owned by anybody. There's a board of directors, and right now I 100% own OMG, and I will never let anybody influence or stop me or anything from saying the stories I want to tell, saying what I want to say, and doing what I want to do. And I'll probably be a more effective messenger as a result.